we just have to keep working this thing so we can get it down to 40 Republican senators. The vast majority of the country in the middle wants a country that is both a nation of laws and a nation of immigrants. And you have to deal with some of the big issues. The big issue is, what do you do with the undocumented that are already here? The Lou Dobsons of the world said they're here illegally, send them home. Well, where are they? Who's going to do it? On the left are the people who basically say just ignore it and let everybody keep coming, ignore the fact that in an age of terror, it is quite important to be able to control your own borders and know who's in your country. For example, there has never been a Mexican-American terrorist, as far as I know. But suppose you wanted to do something America had not thought of. One good way would be to send a cell to Mexico, teach them to speak Spanish, then teach them to speak English with a Spanish accent, and have them pretend to be undocumented immigrants, and go to Omaha and blow up a shopping center. This is not a fanciful thing. I mean, the point is that in the modern world, we need better control over our borders. Now, the other thing is, what do you do about the workplace? While it is true that most undocumented immigrants are not displacing American workers, like we have a huge immigrant population in Westchester County, where I live. And a lot of them live in Mount Kisco next to me, and I go over there and do my heart walks all the time, and lots of time I can walk 2 miles up one street, and not 5% of the people passing me will be speaking English. Most of them from the Dominican Republic and Ecuador. Most of them are taking jobs that they're not displacing people. On the other hand, in another one of our cities earlier this year, a contractor filed a report on a school construction program in which he claimed that he paid a certain amount of money in wages and benefits because the workers were only working 10 hours a week. In fact, they were working at breakneck pace to have the school ready for opening in this school year. And he was using illegal immigrants and didn't want to say so. And he was depressing wages in the area by paying them less than he would have lawfully been required to pay Americans. So we need more workplace enforcement where people are getting the shaft, whether they're immigrants or American citizens. And we need to be realistic where we can't bring in a farm crop or can't do other things without immigrant labor. We need to raise the legal quotas. We need to regularize the status of people here. And we need to increase our ability to know who's coming in and out of the borders, which is not just the Rio Grande River, but also in Canada and in all the ports and airports on the ocean. So that's basically what her position is. And she believes we can get a majority for this. When President Bush tried to do it, by the time he tried to do it, actually his bill wasn't all that bad. It's one thing that Texas Republicans are more liberal than the Republican Party on immigration, and it's because of the culture of the Rio Grande River. And anybody who's ever spent any time in South Texas will immediately understand this. I mean, there's a much greater level of ease and comfort with people from other countries. And so I think, my personal opinion is that President Bush has always been pretty good on this issue. And taking very few cheap shots at immigrants. And, but we couldn't pass it because he was so weak by then in political support that the conservative Republicans felt free to oppose him too. And they basically took the Lou Dobbs line, and they had enough votes to stop anything from passing. If we can get an election behind us, I'm convinced that we can pass legislation here. We've got to do it. It's irresponsible for us not to know who's in this country from a security point of view, and it's inhumane to leave people hanging fire like that. Now, they beat a bill this year that denied access to higher education to the children of undocumented immigrants. How dumb is that? I mean, it wasn't their fault, even if you think it was wrong, and it weakens our country.
We spent a fortune educating them in the public schools anyway.
That's right. So we're going to lose our investment.
Right.